Good morning, Taylor. How are you, my
Season
man?
one.
No, it wasn't that long ago.
Season 5.
Season 5. Jeez, what year
You
was
got
that?
a great waiting area, by the way.
Why's that?
Just, you know.
Oh, the underwear and stuff that's out
yes.
there? You don't see that in too many green rooms, do you?
And especially not this early in the morning. I mean, you know, I don't think ever have I seen skid marks at 5 a.m. that weren't my own.
It is a little interesting out there. What year was it that you won?
5.
So season 5. But what actual year? Like, was this 2000?
06.
06. Oh my God.
So it was right after Carrie.
That's just that's so long ago. It doesn't seem like that long ago.
Yeah, and you know what's funny about that is when people say, you know, it doesn't seem that long ago. You know that people have been working, you know, and working their butt off, because it's the people that don't do anything that remember every season and every person.
Right.
You know, the people that have something going on. It's working, and when you're working, days go by pretty quick. You know,
that show must have changed your life, obviously.
It did.
And how did you end up getting on American Idol?
I was one of the last taxi cabs out of Hurricane Katrina. The weekend of Hurricane Katrina, I went down for a friend of mine's wedding, and I guess I got too drunk and didn't think about the cabs fleeing the city as well.
Yeah.
And when you think about a hurricane, you know, especially in New Orleans and the Quarter, the last thing you think about is that there won't be any cabs.
Right.
But I couldn't even get a cab to the airport. And I found one cab, and me and him drove. He was fleeing the city. We drove 15 hours in contraflow traffic to West Monroe, Louisiana.
Oh, wow.
And then the storm passed, and then I took a rent-a-car to Birmingham, where I lived, went to the airport because Southwest gave me a free ticket anywhere in the continental United States because they had canceled my flight.
Mm-hmm.
And I flew to Vegas on a whim, you know, because I'd never been to Vegas. I had a free voucher. I was like, man, now where am I going to go? Charlotte or Vegas? You know, so I went to Vegas, and I got there about midnight, and my brother called me at 1 a.m. and said, hey, dude, American Idol tryouts are in 3 hours. You should go get in line. I was like, man, I'm gambling. I don't, you know, and I went. I said, I got in line, and I won.
How many people were in line?
About 12,000, maybe.
12,000 people. And you really had no idea that you were going to audition when you got on this flight to go to Las Vegas?
I had no idea.
So your brother calls you up and he says, get in line. You get in line.
And people are asking me, but I mean, I was an overweight, lazy musician at that point in time. I had this overweight, you know, long, shaggy gray hair, and people, you know, people were asking me where my kids were because they thought that I was too.
They were taking their kids there?
Yeah, I thought that you know, that my kids, and I actually, they checked my ID a couple of times, and you know, I guess the rest you can find on Google.
Well, you look older because of the gray hair that you have.
Right.
You got this at a very early age. I mean, your hair started turning gray at what age?
14, 13. I was always buying beer for everybody in high school.
I bet. Yeah, I was going bald at that age.
That's a good thing, and that's a bad thing. It's a good thing because you're a popular dude, but it's a bad thing because you could get thrown in jail real easy.
I was going bald, so I was buying beer too. You know, I was like 13, 14 years old. I'm losing my hair already. It's terrible. So, when your hair started turning gray, I mean, were other kids? Did they make fun of you? Did they accept it? Or I mean, you must have been beside yourself, I'm guessing.
Well, it was. I never will forget the first time I looked in the mirror, and it was like, you know, I was like, wow. I mean, I guess this is normal, you know, but I guess you just run with whatever you got.
Did your father have?
Yeah, it was all hereditary.
Okay, so he had the same thing. His hair turned gray at an early age as well. So you knew almost that you were going to be in for it at some time.
I just didn't realize that I would be white at 36.
Yeah. White? What do you mean?
White-headed.
Oh, white hair. Okay.
The gray is a different, you know.
I don't know what they're teaching down there in Birmingham, but born white, you stay white.
Oh, yeah.
So Birmingham is where you grew up.
Yeah.
What did your parents do?
My father was actually a rural dentist.
Mm-hmm.
We lived in Birmingham, but he drove about 100 miles to work every day.
He must have seen everything out there in dentistry in rural Alabama, I bet.
Yeah. Yeah, and he was always been doing that. You know, my mom was she stayed at home, you know, and I mean, I was playing gigs when I was like 15 or 16. I would put a hat on until I started turning gray and go and play blues clubs and stuff when I was like 15 and 16.
Mm-hmm.
So I was clubbing it for at least 12 years.
When did you get the inkling that you wanted to have a career in music? How old were you?
I guess 16 or I guess 17 or 18. I guess when I started teaching myself instruments, you know, that's when it started falling into place. Because I mean, you know, if I had a kid that was teaching himself instruments, you know, and becoming pretty good at it, you know, efficient, you know, guitar and harmonica, no formal training whatsoever, you know, I would have to let that talent or let that, you know, let him do his thing. And I think that's what my family did, which was cool because I really explored my musicality on my own from an early age.
Well, I'm guessing that with your father being a dentist, I'm guessing that your mother and father, at first, they probably wanted you to go into some sort of medical field or something, right?
You know, I think that they just wanted me to go to college.
Yeah.
You know, and I did, but then I ended up playing in bands, and my professors would come hear me. You know, and then that's what I tell people is if your professors are coming to hear you play music, you might want to
get out of there.
You might not want to use your money wisely.
Did you finish school? Did you drop out?
No, I dropped out of. I've got about 30 hours left, maybe.
Yeah. What were you going to school for? Some sort of music? Or
journalism.
Journalism. Is that what you had wanted to do if the music thing didn't take off, or you just couldn't think of anything else?
Yeah, I knew that was the next step.
Yeah.
You know, and ultimately probably something that I'll fall back on.
Yeah. So you're growing up in Birmingham. Your parents your dad's a dentist. Your mother stays at home. Start playing music at 16. You're going to high school out there and everything. How did the other kids react to this music career? Or it wasn't even a career at that point, but this.
You know, I was studying a lot. I was studying a lot of different music. I mean, the closest that I ever got. I mean, I think everybody was listening to Blind Melon, and I was trying to find VHS tapes of Otis Redding because I was also a study for not only the music, but I needed to know about the visual perspective too. So, you know, even at an early age, I was studying the visual perspective of some of these performers. You know, it started with Ray Charles, you know, and then I would you know, move through, you know, different singers, really finding my own voice, but also studying and you know, I really submerged myself in a lot of artists at that time.
Did you fit in with the kids in school? Because it sounds to me like you would not really fit in.
That was an oddball?
Yeah. I mean, well, kind of like I've told the story many times that when I was a kid, I used to sit in my room and practice being on the radio for 10 hours a day because that's always what I wanted to do. And, you know, that's considered weird by other kids. So did they consider you weird?
I have a question for you. Did you have the double cassette tape deck where you could play the song on the radio and record it, and then you could record your own voice?
Oh yes, of course.
With the same thing. So
yeah.
I
actually had I had 3 boom boxes. I had a little Radio Shack mixer, cost like $75. I had to save up for. And I had the 2 boom boxes, and then it would record. So I'd have like song A and song B, and I would tape the stuff off of the radio, the songs, and I would just sit there and pray that the radio station for once would play a song where they wouldn't talk over the beginning of the song, because that would ruin it. So then I would play from song A to song B, and I would record it into the third one for hours. It was ridiculous. I was an idiot.
No,
then I
obviously
discovered,
not.
Then I discovered girls. And
you quit doing that?
yeah, I quit doing that, yeah. But, I mean, it seems to me like you would be somewhat of an outcast to some extent in high school.
Yeah, I mean, if you put the gray hair together and then you're studying Otis Redding at 17 instead of Blind Melon, then yeah, you've got the inner workings of an outcast.
Did they pick on you?
You know, not really. No.
You're kind of a bigger guy. You could probably defend yourself.
Yeah, and I mean, I was cool too. It's like I wasn't super out. I mean, I hung with everybody, and like I said, I was buying beer for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't be too much of an outcast if somebody buys you beer.
Did you do a lot of drinking when you were in high school? And a lot of partying?
I guess like everybody else.
Yeah.
Not as much as I probably should have.
Yeah. I started drinking. I was like 14 years old. I remember that's the first because I grew up in Vegas, so you get a fake ID at the age of 14 out there. You start buying beer and it was.
I couldn't
crazy.
imagine
growing up out there.
Growing up in Vegas.
It was great.
Now that I'm living there.
Oh, you live there now.
I live in. I live in Paris. I live in the hotel.
Oh, all right.
So I'm doing a residency in Vegas.
How long has it been going on for?
Since June.
You like it?
I love it.
That's obviously a different experience, living in a hotel than it is growing up there. We lived like 15 minutes from the Strip, and
right.
It was, I don't know, it was normal for me, I suppose. You won't really go down to the Strip too often.
Could you get into clubs at an early age and stuff like that?
Sure, because we all had fake IDs at the age of 14. I mean, that was just the thing. I actually used to make fake IDs for all the kids in my high school and charge them $100, and I had to have this elaborate cover, and we would sometimes just drive. I'd be like, yeah, it's my buddy makes them, because I didn't want them to know that it was me, because then they'd be like, give it to me for free or for $50. Right. So we used to have to drive to like a random house and be like, all right, this is the guy's house here. I'd have to jump the fence, go in the backyard. I already had the fake ID in my pocket, but hang out back there for 5 minutes, then come back. All right, here it is. He gave it to me. So it was very elaborate. We all had fake IDs back then.
That was quite the hustle, man.
It was. I was into all that kind of crazy stuff. But so you like it out there in Vegas? I do.
I think it's a great gig. It's interesting because I'm not on tour. The crowd is.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I'm in one spot, which is great because you can really fine tune a show if it's in one spot. Every night I'm fine tuning and creating, and it's not moving a big production or a bus, or a rig. It's having your own show, having your own room. And
is it tough, though, with all of the entertainment options that they have out there in Las Vegas to draw people in? Because once people get out there, there's 50 billion things they can go and do.
It's, it's probably, I would say other than New York City, probably one of the most competitive markets.
Yeah.
For entertainment, but my room is fair. My room is an intimate, so it's 250 seats or something, and it's an intimate venue, so it's not like you're, I got in my, it's not like I was put in 1,000-seater.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's smart for you to build your audience out there, as opposed to, guess how big your audience is going to be.
Right. So you didn't get into too much trouble as a kid then, I'm assuming.
No, I was worried about trying to figure out how to make it in music.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out, it is like a disease, when you catch it, it's like you have tunnel vision, you have to have tunnel vision to have, to be able to push yourself through and I think catch the break.
How old were you when you got on American Idol? And by the way, Taylor Hicks is with us. He'll be at the Thistledown Racino Friday at 8 p.m., which is a show for Total Rewards members. They just had their grand opening last night over there. I saw that on the news. How old were you when you were on American Idol?
I think I was like 27, 28.
28 years old. So you were a little older.
Yeah, I was the oldest.
Than most of the people there. You'd already put out a couple of records that you didn't have a record deal, but you put out a couple of records on your own.
Yeah.
At that point, before you got on that show, did you think, look, I'm 28 years old. This may not work out the way. I may not be able to make a career doing this.
Yeah, it's, when you start, it's fun to couch surf, with your buddies, but when your buddies' kids wake you up in the morning, that's when it's time to rethink things. Because towards like the late 20s, the one great thing about your couch surfing as a musician and your kids and your friends having kids is like they have the best munchie food in the refrigerator. Because like there was like the arc of them and what they had in their refrigerator as your buddies was like beer, you know, and like leftover pizza.
Yeah.
But then when they had kids, it was like cereals and like
They had all sorts of stuff.
cheese, you know, Cheese Whiz.
Right. And you would get the munchies from time to time because I did read that you were popped for marijuana at one point. I think you were 21, I think, at the time, right?
That's what they say.
But you were found, they never actually prosecuted you for whatever reason. What happened?
I'm pleading the fifth.
You're not going to, you don't remember or you just don't want to talk about it?
I'm like, what is it? I'm like Jody Arias. I don't remember. It was a fog.
What do you think about this Jody Arias case? Yeah, there was a fog. It was all his marijuana smoke coming out of the car. What do you think of that Jody Arias case? You follow any of that stuff?
I do, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, when you're on the road and, you know, I do follow some of that stuff. I find it fascinating.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. You know, like I said, you know, you're innocent until proven
She did
guilty.
it, though, right? I mean, there's no question.
I think it's
if
very
you were on that
similar
jury,
to
she'd
the
be-
Pistorius case. And, you know, someone's murdered.
Yeah.
You know, so someone's got to pay the price for it, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. We'll see what happens.
What's your story with, are you single? Are you in a relationship? What's
I'm happy.
You're happy.
Yeah.
Does that mean you're in a relationship now?
I'm a happy camper.
I'm actually happy. I'm single. That makes me happy. But
How long have you been single?
oh boy, I don't know. A long time, I guess. That's a tough question to answer, I guess, because I've sort of dated on and off for a while. What about you?
You know, I mean, you know, it's been tough. You know, as much touring and stuff as I've done, traveling, and it's been a tough. That's one of the tough things about the business of touring and stuff. But you know, people tell me if you find the right one, it'll all take care of itself.
Well, it must be difficult because that would take a toll on any sort of relationship. I would think that if you're traveling so much, and also just being in the entertainment industry is got to be tough. I think.
Yeah, I've you know, I felt like I've navigated it pretty well. You know, I mean, when you no, there is no book for fame.
Yeah.
You know, there's no book on how to deal with it. You know, how to maneuver through it, and how to, you know, the one good thing is that you know, I've been working on the break for a long time, and it was easy to be able to transition from anonymity to, you know, fame, because I've been doing it for so long. I've been around. I understand, you know, gigs and the way they go, and traveling and performing and stuff. So I think it was an easy transition for me. Luckily, you know.
I have an idea for you. And next time you don't want to, excuse me, next time you don't want to answer a question, take this watch of yours and just actually move it. You can mesmerize your interviewer. This thing is like
sparkling.
It's hypnotizing me over there,
I go, what is
Dieter. I
that?
mean, yes, this very shiny. This watch of yours. I mean, that's what I like. Let me see it. Can I just take a look at this thing? Oh wow, I like that. I don't know what kind of watch it is, but it looks like it's really expensive.
Yeah, it does.
Looks expensive. I don't know if it is, but it
Hey,
looks expensive.
It's the business of show.
You so what's in the plan for Taylor Hicks in the future? You're gonna do this Vegas show. How long does that run?
38 weeks.
38 weeks. All right. So that's at Paris.
Yeah, it's Paris.
So if you're in Vegas, you can check that out. ParisLasVegas.com is their website address. And I told you he'll be at the Thistledown this Friday. So when that run is up, what does Taylor Hicks plan to do?
You know, I'm hoping that it doesn't.
That you can do another one.
I think
now.
it's a great gig. I mean, you know, with Caesars, and my deal's with Caesars, and Caesars, you know, they own 200 properties worldwide. So it's a really cool way to, you know, release new music, and you know,
you could go to all their different properties and stuff. You could be in Macau and all sorts of places.
This is the reason why I'm at Thistledown.
Mm-hmm. They own that or whatever.
And on Horseshoe.
Yeah.
This is one of my outside properties that I perform in. You know, you know, the way that it's good, the way that I look at, and I don't know if this has always been true, but the way that I look at though these people that are with the casinos and the racinos, and I mean, they're some of the greatest marketeers in the world. They know how to market and get people in, and and entertain them. And if you're one of their entertainers, you could have a healthy, long career without even having to go outside of that conglomerate. So I think it's a really great starting point for me with Caesars.
Before I let you go, let's talk about American Idol. You won American Idol in what, 06, you said, 06. Season 5. How much of the show is contrived?
I mean, the bottom line is if you can't sing, nobody's going to vote for you.
Right.
It's not contrived at all. I mean, because that's the bottom line. Nobody's going to, you can't fake singing off key into a microphone in front of millions of people. It just doesn't work. So,
but they can, I guess, massage outcomes and sort of direct things the way that they want it to go, right? I'm not saying like your win is illegitimate. That's not what I'm getting at. What I'm getting at is how much of like the judges, what the judges were doing, and I know that Simon Cowell said, "Oh, you'll never make it into the final round." Do you think that they really believe that, or is that so that they can come back and circle back around and tie it up, make it more dramatic? That kind of stuff is what I'm getting at.
Well, I mean, I don't believe that is the case, but you never know. I mean, I don't think that it was like that. I don't think that it was contrived. I mean, I think that you have legitimate stars in the judges' seats, and the reason why they're there and the reason why they're contracted there is that, they're stars and they're talented, and I think they let them say whatever they want to, forever, and not to mention however long they want to.
Yeah. Do they? When you read the stuff about whoever the hosts are now, I think is it Mariah Carey and who else?
Nicki Minaj.
Yeah, they're fighting and that kind of stuff. See, when I read that, I just go, I don't buy it. It's to get in TMZ or something to get people to watch or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, when you have that, when you have the public eye, that intensified on you. I mean, having one of the biggest shows on TV. I think they take every little thing and sensationalize it. Yeah, obviously the media does.
How did people treat you differently after you were on that show? People back home or people that you know?
Yeah, I mean, when you win a show like that, and for me, I was lucky because I was the only game in town. I mean, it was the biggest show on TV at the biggest season that they've ever had. I mean, that's. For an entertainer that's been working 10 years to catch a break like that, considering what that break was, and there wasn't competition. Idol was the show that everybody watched that was, they were the front runner. Other than, Star Search or the Ted Mack Amateur Hour that Frank Sinatra won.
Yeah.
But, that was the only game, and I was lucky. So the, how many people watched that year? I mean, I was very blessed to have that kind of visibility.
What about people that you knew? Did you notice a change in the way that they would approach you or treat you or want things from you, that kind of stuff?
No. Yeah, a little bit. There is a little bit of that. Residual stuff that happens.
Yeah.
But you have to be, smart with it. You definitely know who your buddies are when all that shakes out.
Yeah.
And some of the family members that you never knew you had.
They come out, hey.
Literally, I had someone give me a genealogy book that was like 4 inches thick and told me that maybe I should go to lunch with him because I was related to him.
Distantly related to them.
Pointed it out.
Yeah.
Ran the highlighter through the family tree for 25 minutes.
Well, Taylor's going to be at the Thistledown Racino. The grand opening was just last night. Looks like this is a kind of a happening place. I haven't been over there yet, but they have a bunch of machines in there and the racetrack and all of that. The show is for Total Rewards members, and that's at 21501 Emory Road in Cleveland. That's this Friday, 8 p.m. His website is taylorhicks.com. The number for ticket, or for more information, I guess, 216-662-8600. And then how many nights a week you do in the Vegas show?
5.
Oh, my God, you're kidding me. 5 nights a week.
I have Wednesdays and Sundays off.
Holy.
So I do 4 weeks. I'll do 4 weeks straight, and then I'll take a week off.
Wow. That's no joke, man. That's a tough schedule. He's at the Paris in Las Vegas. ParisLasVegas.com is their website address. Taylor, I appreciate you coming in.
Always a pleasure.
And you have fun while you're in town and doing this show. And I appreciate it, my man.